that I am live now, so hopefully this is going to work this time, because for those of you guys who were with Brooke and I over on Brooke's channel for her live stream, you know that I got kicked out. StreamYard didn't want to hang out with me anymore. So we're going to see how this goes. Let me know. I'm nervous. I debated trying the YouTube live option because I haven't actually tried it through YouTube yet. But then StreamYard's so cool because I can do the thing where I share my screen and you can see the timer and how much time we have left during our sprints or whatever, and I think that's really nice. So I didn't want to if I could make StreamYard work for me, I'm going to try and make it work for me. Let's see. Oh, see, I can make it big. I can do all kinds of things. Anyways, I guess we don't need that yet though. So, all right. I do have my cappuccino in my NaNoWriMo mug with me. I know it's very early for some of us and not quite so early for others if y'all are over on the European side or the Australian side. I see Riddle Wright says, good morning, 5 a.m. and lots of coffee here. Hello, Riddle Wrights. Oh my gosh, 5 a.m. I'm over here still kind of struggling at 7 a.m. I don't know if you guys have had this recently. I'm not sure if it's the change in weather or something, but I've or actually, you know what it is? It's because I did that stupid Brandon Sanderson experiment and I stayed up twice until 3 a.m. I couldn't even make it till his 4 a.m., but I did my best. And so now it's my body clock is slowly trying to revert back. And so I keep staying up till midnight, which is late for me. So I was over here midnight up and just, yeah. And now it's 7 a.m., but thankfully, coffee. So Riddle writes, you are crazy impressive to me right now. Hi, Becca. Seeing it for Becca, it's 8 a.m., a little bit better. Vanessa says, hi, it's 2 p.m. Here's a perfect time. Yay, all right. Vanessa, where are you? I'm going to be such a creeper. Where are you living at? I know that's got to be somewhere in Europe, but I'm just curious. Yeah, Becca says 8 a.m., not so bad. Riddle writes, accidentally did a 24-hour writing challenge. I mean, I just have so many questions to follow up with. One, how do you accidentally do a 24-hour writing challenge? Were you just so in the zone with your story that you were I'm just going to keep writing and it just kept coming? So for 24 hours, that's just what you did? Or did you set out to do one kind of writing challenge and then it kind of moved into something else? I got questions. I was telling Becca and some other author tubers that I don't know, with the exception of NaNoWriMo time, I don't know that I'm going to do any more write-a-thons or writing challenges other than my I tried writing likes or a fun different ones here. But the ones that require me to work for 12 hours straight, I think during Camp NaNoWriMo, I just got so tired of them because we were doing all of those and then we did live stream relays and all of it was very fun. But now the thought of doing a 24-hour writing challenge sounds terrifying. That's going to be a hard no from me. So Riddle Wright says, I was really excited for the stream and just decided to stay awake instead of sleeping. Okay, all right. Then that makes sense. And I feel fortunate that you decided to do that. So then are you more of a night owl, Riddle, then, if you were just still awake during that time? I guess I could have done that, honestly. I didn't get much sleep. I've started watching The Office again because I wanted to give it a fair shake, because I've always thought that Parks and Rec was better. I've rewatched Parks and Rec so many times, but The Office, the problem with The Office, and it's really a problem with me, is that it gets to like a too cringy kind of thing, and I'm just so I I feel so strongly for the characters that I struggle with it. Like it's uncomfortable for me. I know it's supposed to be funny, but what happens is that I have a visceral like, oh no, kind of reaction. So I'm gonna see how far I can make it in The Office, and maybe that's just my problem with it, and that'll be okay. But again, I don't think I've watched since I was out of high school, so I don't know. When did that I stopped watching, I think, like, season 4 or season 5. Okay, I'm not alone. Riddle Writes gets the same way, so does Samantha Anderson. Yes, okay. Makes me feel better. Oh, I see, okay. So, Vanessa's in Austria. Oh my gosh. I would love to go to Austria again. Let's see. I need to look at the map and figure out what I went to Innsbruck. That's where I went. I've only been to Austria once, and I went to Innsbruck. But I thought it was beautiful. It was one of my favorite places. I was on, I did this study abroad when I was in university, and it was one of those like kind of traveling ones. And my favorite places were Paris and Innsbruck. So let's see. Scroll back down. Okay, and Becca's the same with the cringe. Okay, so we're all like this. I'm just gonna say, have you guys seen Parks and Rec? And do you guys cringe in the same way? Because it makes me do that sometimes, but not nearly to the same level as The Office. It does not feel the same way to me at all. Hi, James. James also stayed up all night. What are you people doing? Did you have like copious amounts of caffeine to get you through that? He also says everyone hypes up The Office, but I never watched a single episode. Never felt like it was something I was interested in. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm so biased, but I'm like, there's so many other comedies out there that don't make me cringe that it's like, why? And yet I'm over here rewatching The Office, so I guess I can't really talk. So we'll see. I think I'll probably like finish off this first season and be like, yeah, this is what I thought, and be good with it. Okay, Riddle Wright says I like Parks and Rec more, but I still can't really get into it. I can see that. That's fair. And then Vanessa, oh fun, you should see Vienna and Salzburg next time. Not too familiar with it. I would love to see Vienna and Salzburg. Oh, God. I just want to go back. James managed to do that only with 1 cup of coffee. Staying up forever just comes naturally to me now, I suppose. Oh no. What times do you like to sleep, James? There's just never. Oh, Riddle Writes. I was more of a sitcom before the 90s person. Step by Step, Family Matters. Oh my gosh, why do I have Step by Step? Da, 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 da. It's gonna never, I don't know. I feel like I vaguely remember Step by Step. Maybe just the jingle. Let's see. And then Family Matters. Who was in that? Family Matters. Okay, yes. Family Matters is one that I just like had seen. What word am I looking for here? Reruns. Oh my gosh. I was like, I rewatch it. So then I've seen reruns of Family Matters. And Riddle works. I used to work graveyard and stay awake for like 3 days at a time. Now it's easy. Oh my gosh. I feel like that's a skill, because I don't know that I have that. If I'm someone who genuinely needs like a regular sort of 8 hours, I can manage with a regular sort of 7 hours, but not very well. And I remember I had like a freshman year roommate, and she only needed 4 hours of sleep each night, and she was good to go. And I was always like, how do people do this? Or like staying awake for 3 days at a time. I just could not. I don't know. I guess if you have to, like, you develop that skill. But then there's also those people who can like go to sleep like that. And I don't know that I ever fully developed that skill either. So I don't know. Maybe I need to practice more, but that just sounds like not fun practice. Okay, Samantha and me are the same, the opposite of me. I need sleep and I'm more of an early bird than a night owl. Yeah, okay. I feel a little bit better then. Also, look at the little banner thing down here. I really like the way they did that. I'm trying to see if it looks like that just on my end. No, it's on, okay. Very cool. I like it. So, I think we're getting to the point that we should maybe start writing. As I said this, I realized I did not ever pull up any of my stuff. So that's my bad. Let me go ahead and get my project open. And while I'm doing that, let me know what you guys are working on. I think I'm going to be working on one of my like adult contemporaries. Me and my co-writer are maybe gonna be getting back into the swing of things. I always have such doubts on if that's gonna happen, but you know, I'll be positive about it. So I'll work on my stuff and then, and then we'll see if anything happens that way. Let me see. Riddle writes, I have to get less than 6 hours or I sleep way too long. Oh, okay. I have seen that for some people. And James, most I've gone is 4 days without sleep. I forced myself to go to bed when I started seeing things. Poor freshman me during. Oh no. Thing about me is if I get less than 6 hours, I'm fine, but I sleep more than 7 hours, I'm exhausted. You know, yeah, okay, so Riddle writes and James, I see y'all. I do think that's interesting, and I've definitely had times where I've overslept to the point that I was, yeah, you're just groggy, exhausted, you're in a mental fog all the next day and like a half. It feels like an opposite kind of sleep hangover, so I can see that. Yay! Becca is working on Dream Diaries too, finally in the writing stages of things. Okay. Oh, I'm so excited. So did the reread? The reread's done and we're happy about it and we're affirmed in only needing like 5 chapters of work done. Poor Becca. Actually, no, this is a good thing. Becca was reminded by a reader / another one of our like AuthorTube friends that she never finished the sequel to Dream Diaries. And so now she's working on that. I think that's so cool. James, just covering a dummy's guide to fan fiction to help myself out in a future project. Either that or a random smut scene. Who knows at this point? That is great. That's so funny. A dummy's guide to fan fiction. I think that sounds so cool, actually. Are you working on that with someone else or are you just going for it? That sounds cool. Samantha says, I'm working on a fantasy romance that has taken me 4 years of on and off frustrations, but I'm on my 3rd draft, so it's coming along. Yay, Samantha. Okay. We're on the upswing. That's good. What kind of fantasy are we talking? I guess I should also ask what kind of romance are we talking? Are we adding in some of those smut scenes like with James? Or is it like a more, what is it? Not a cozy romance, that's a cozy mystery. Like a cute romance and fantasy, I always wonder, are we going like medieval sort of fantasy? Or are we including some dragons? Or what kind of fantasy? I just have more questions, but that's really exciting. I'm glad that you're on your 3rd draft and that it's coming along. Vanessa is still line editing my Japanese urban fantasy. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be so cool. Good luck on the line edits. I feel like line edits are interesting because it feels like you've come all this way, but you're also like you've reread the project so much at this point that it's like it almost makes the line editing process difficult. Riddle writes is working on Project Zombie. No idea where it's going or even where it came from, but I'm going with it. Yes, lean into it. I have always said that I have the It's a mean idea for a zombie project. But I wanted to make it like an open-ended, we don't know if the main character survives kind of thing. Like the reader would not know. I would know, but the reader would not know. And I could do it, but everyone would hate me kind of thing. But I still really want to. So I might at some point. James, just be handwriting per usual. Yay, sorry. I can't. These hands do not handwrite anymore. I cannot believe all those years spent handwriting as a kid and it just does not happen. And yes, James and his music choices, he is on top of things, you guys. Okay, I have my stuff almost pulled up because even though I said I was pulling it up, I just talked. So let's go ahead and pull up that chapter. When I'm co-writing, we work in Google Docs. And so it's a little bit, it's like my brain has to restructure to write that way instead of on Scrivener, which is interesting. So then I have to pull up like that the chapter doc, and then I have to pull up like the outline doc and then like a couple other things. So it's like, okay, just have to prepare myself. Okay, and then let me see. Do y'all want to do, I'm thinking like maybe an 8 minutes to start. It feels like an okay amount of time. Oh no, y'all can't see it, but I accidentally messed up the timer. So let me pull that up. And then Chrome tab, timer, share. Let's see. Do we want it real big? Do we want me to look like I could potentially eat it? Do we want just the timer? Okay, let's do this one actually. So I'm gonna be little. And then go back to that. Okay, let's do 8:08. 8 minutes, 8 seconds. All right. So if y'all are ready, I'm ready. Oh, good morning, Lars. We had another person join in. We're just about to start our sprint. So, okay, let's go. Yay. Okay. That was terrifying. Okay. All right. How did y'all do? I think I got, where did I stop at? Let's see. I didn't do the thing like I'm used to doing in Scrivener where I figure out and change my font. Even though it's so easy, it's just set up a little bit differently. So it's like my brain didn't have that cue. Okay. All right, I found it. I managed to get a whopping 262 words that time, so not bad. Could have been better, but not bad. Let's see. Let me know how you guys did. I'm going to go ahead and I think I saw a comment that I missed, so I'm going to scroll back up. Oh, Vanessa likes line edits way better than developmental content. And preparing for submission is exciting. Yay! Oh my gosh, that'll be so much fun. Vanessa, you'll have to keep us updated. That's so interesting though. I do think there's something to be said about line edits now that the like in quotes hard work is done. And I guess if you're working on something with an agent, that would feel a little bit different too. I've never had that experience yet, so it probably would be. I can't imagine preparing for submission. I bet that is so exciting. Riddle writes also can't read their own handwriting. Same. Oh my gosh. Lyrie? Okay, you're going to have to correct me if it's not. Is it Lyrie? Lyrie. I'm going to go with Lyrie. I'm so sorry. I'm scheduled to give birth on Sunday, so currently trying to squeeze in some late moment thought dumping before I start working on a new romantic suspense project. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I hope your birth goes very smoothly. That's so exciting. You're going to have a little one. Maybe you already have some other little ones running around, but that's so fun. Late moment thought dumping before start working on it. Or new romantic suspense. Oh my gosh, that sounds really cool too. That sounds awesome, actually. How does romantic suspense work in comparison with like is the suspense aspect kind of like a thriller almost? Or I need to look up what that genre is. The more and more I talk to other writers, the more I'm realizing that I don't know what specific genres there are out there. And romance in particular, because there's so many different kinds, I feel like, or there's so many different names within the romance field. And maybe I'm just barely tapped into romance enough to know, like there could be all sorts of names in the sci-fi world that I have no idea of that are like specific subgenres. So let's see. Okay, I do see romantic suspense novels. Okay, I'm gonna have to look this up more. Thank you for that. That, again, that's so exciting. All right, fingers crossed for Sunday. Riddle writes, I would lose the plot so fast. I'm assuming that's writing by hand, but I don't know. Now that I went too far back in the conversation, I'm sorry. James, I've been covering a certain aspect of the fanfiction universe that I find interesting, so I'm just building a long guide for it. I might just focus on my main project, can't decide. A certain aspect of the fanfiction universe. Whew. I would love more details if you're willing to share. Samantha asks, is co-writing more difficult for you? I tried doing it with my sister and it didn't work out so well. Co-writing is so interesting for me because the actual writing process, I don't find, let me rephrase. The plotting process, significantly easier. You have another writer to like bounce ideas off of that is equally as invested in you in the project. You both want what's best for the project. There's a couple cons in there in that if you like kind of come head to head on that sort of thing, but usually that doesn't happen. So really you guys are both building something that could be argued is probably better than what one of you guys could have done yourself, and you do it faster, and that part's very cool. The actual writing and staying on top of deadlines is what I've found to be more difficult, especially because like I'm co-writing with a friend, a really good friend, my best friend. So it gets to be like you have to separate the best friendship and the co-writing ship and be like, okay, your co-writer duties are sort of slacking on, but you're my friend and we're gonna separate this right now. So I imagine the same thing, since you were attempting to do it with your sister, could be similar. And it's like, but I mean, sometimes it's easier or harder to get on your friend or your sister's case than a different person that you might be co-writing with, but I don't know. Samantha got 181 words during that. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. James got nothing. Literally sat for 8 minutes trying to figure out what I'm going to do for chapter 5 of my Camp Nano project. Okay, here's the thing though. I always think about thinking. Sometimes you need that thinking time. You got to figure it out. And I wish that even for me, there was a better way to conceptualize that time that's clearly needed. But I'm over here with you where it's like, if I didn't get words and I just thought about it, I'm like, did you really do anything? But of course you did. So yeah, it's a struggle. But hopefully you were able to work through something and maybe you're a little bit closer to having your epiphany sort of moment. Roro writes got 267 words. Yes. Vanessa edited half a page, then had to research STH. I don't know if is that slang. Am I dumb? But I totally understand editing and then researching. Research, because I zero draft and I just use brackets, what happens is that I go off of something that I should have researched and I just keep going, hoping that what the research will turn out to be true. Does that make sense? Sometimes I get it wrong and I have to rework like a subplot or something, or I have to rework a way I was going to do something, because had I researched it, I would have known, but I don't ever want to take that break to research until after I get the story out. So research is always a struggle with me. I'm like, at what point should I really be doing this? Ooh, okay, James is going to turn it into the NaNoWriMo project. That's exciting. Okay, Leary. Okay. That's such a pretty name. I've never heard that before. I really like that. Leary. Vanessa, yes, I'll be querying agents as well as publishers. Fingers crossed. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I think by the end of the year, before the end of the year, hopefully, honestly, before NaNoWriMo, hopefully, I'll be able to query Project Purple. We're going to see. I'm about to start the reread process again to make sure those last few scenes worked in the story. And if they did, I'm going to get to the point where it's time to start tinkering with specific word choice and making sure that everything sounds good. And then I'm going to give it to a final round of beta readers, or I read James's thing. I'm going to give it to a final round of people to read before I start querying again. And we'll see how it goes. Querying is so interesting because I've only done it the one time. And then I so quickly decided that I wanted to go the self-publishing route because it was a series instead. And my whole mindset around it changed. That now this almost in some ways for Project Purple will feel like the first time I'm querying legitimately, if that makes sense. Like I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to do actual multiple rounds kind of thing. So James, totally not alpha, beta, and omega related fan fiction. That's what I was laughing at. Samantha, yes, we came up with the story well, but the actual writing was the hard part. Yeah, it's an interesting sort of thing because you do have to stick on a schedule. And for me, I'm really good at sticking on a writing schedule, especially just because I write so much. And we started this project back when I was still working corporate, but I'm very good about being like, okay, my chapter's in this week and then the next one's yours. And I'm the one who's type A enough to like make schedules for us and like put it in an Excel spreadsheet kind of thing and be like, okay, if we do this, this, and this by this time, then we should finish this draft by here, which means we can do this. Like, but then inevitably you kind of get off schedule. And how do I tell her like, girl, you're supposed to have your chapter in 2 weeks ago. It's just gotten to a point where it's like, if she does her chapter, I then work on mine, and then we'll see how long it takes her to do hers. The actual writing and the plotting is fun for us, that it's not such a big deal to not get it done. And I have enough other projects going on that I would actually be frustrated if this was one of my only projects, but it's not, so it's fine. The Yummy Factory, what a freaking great name. That's amazing. Hello, I'm glad you could make it to the write-in too. We just had our first one, and then we'll have a longer one coming up soon. Riddle Wright says, I did the same with my first novel, the not researching. I'm just saving research until the second draft and cross my fingers that I didn't mess it up too bad. Okay, I feel you. We're on the same page. That it's such a hard thing to do, and like I'm kind of restructuring how I outline almost, because I still don't outline until after the, like, not just after the zero draft, but like after the first draft, and then I outline again. And I think the researching happens around during the same time I outline, because my outlining is a mix of like fixing the timeline errors and like figuring out some of the more, like, making the subplots more cohesive almost is what I'm really doing during the outlining. So I got to make sure the research is good by then. Otherwise, it's like, what are you doing? Let's see. Vanessa says, yep, querying is serious business. And then the Yummy Factory asks, how many agents can you query at once? It depends. It's not that you can't query theoretically a bunch of them at once. It's just not advised to do that, because you don't know, one, if your query's any good. So it's good to have a few agents you send out to that are like kind of test agents. If they respond quickly, then you can get a vibe for if your query's good, if the story's like hot in the market or like whatever, you can try and figure that out. So I think the advice is to make, and what I did is make a giant list of the agents that you'll want to query and then put them into tiers. And so that way it's like you send them out in waves rather than a whole bunch at once. Let's see. Vanessa, I do the big research before drafting, but the characters mention things mid-sentence and I want to make things more specific, so there's more research. Yeah. That, honestly, I'm sure that's like the smartest way to do it. I can completely understand. It's one of those that, like, when I talk with other people about like my zero draft process, it's arguably not the smartest way to do it, because there is some element of like, I have to trash so much of those words, but it's just how I have to get through it. That if I didn't need to do that, I think I'd research at the beginning too, because I feel like that would make it easier. You'd know more going into it. I don't know. James says, I had to research for my project how withdrawal symptoms usually work for the human body. If I didn't, I'd be so screwed right now. Yes, yeah, that's super important too. I'm thankful. I'm happy now that I have like, my dad was a psychologist and my brother's really interested in medicine. I have a cousin that's like an orthopedic surgeon. I don't know enough about this stuff, but like I have people that I can ask how things work and they can kind of explain to me, because I'm not really smart enough to like figure out what I need to research almost, where I'm like, but why wouldn't this work? James says, also, thank you for the zero draft thing. I never even knew it existed, so now I was totally thinking about it. I'm so glad. I feel like a lot of people get hung up on needing to make something like really good the first time. And for me, it's like, I just have to get the idea out. And I just don't police how that idea comes out. And I think that that was a big step for me in actually finishing more projects in the long run. Becca, the querying process sounds a lot like doing ads, constantly rewriting letters copy until it gets a positive response. Becca, that's a great point. I think it is. Because in a way, you're also still trying, like you're still selling your novel, right? You're doing whatever you can. It's just that the audience has changed. So with agents, you're trying to sell your novel to them to get them to then like try and pitch it to publishers. Whereas with ads, you're trying to sell it to the consumer already. Both of those things, it needs to be as like slick as possible, as cool as possible, as enticing as possible, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I think that is really similar. And sometimes you don't know what's going to work the first time. I can't wait for your freaking marketing experiments. I'm so excited. So Riddle Wright says zero drafting is amazing. I tried to outline, but when I wrote it, it turned into a zero draft instead of a first draft. Yeah, that's what I've also seen people say, that they think that their outlining method basically serves as their zero draft. Well, we all just do what works for us. But I'm with you. Sometimes I like to think of it the other way, where sometimes I'm just pleasantly surprised that my zero draft is better than I thought and can serve as a first draft. Because sometimes I do get to the end of what I think is a zero draft and I realize that not as much stuff needs to change. There's no big structural issue. The main character's motivation was right from the beginning and stayed decent. And that's when I'm like, oh, okay. But usually it's just a zero draft and I got to do it. Samantha also actually writes zero drafts for my novel. I'm glad I have a name for it. Yes, I definitely recommend using it. Some people also don't like saying zero draft because it feels like you're not doing any work. If it's called a zero draft, it's fine. Call it whatever you want. I like zero draft term. Vanessa says, interesting, there aren't that many agents on the German market, so I feel multiple rounds aren't really necessary. That is fascinating. And that is something that I think I read so much advice on agents and publishers, but it's always from like an American perspective, that I didn't even think about how that process would work in different sort of markets. That totally makes sense. I'm wondering if that would feel more or less freeing almost, because it's like, well, you just send it out to the people that are there. Yummy Factory asks, do you read books on writing? Do you have a favorite? I love Stephen King's book on writing. That's the one that I usually return to because I find it both inspirational and like generally good advice. I usually read it as like a reminder for things. Other books, I don't have it near me. I bought The Anatomy of Story because some people were really hyping it up, but I haven't read it yet. And then I know a lot of people really like Save the Cat, and I don't know how I feel about that yet. I have conflicting opinions even on like the theoretical part of Save the Cat, where you're like breaking a story down into like very specific beats. And the way I've heard people say like they had to fit the beats, I feel like makes it sound not as exciting when you break a story down to that level, though I do think it could be really helpful if you feel like something's wrong. But again, I haven't read the book to have these kind of feelings. It's just kind of what's put me off of it a little bit. So I don't know. If you guys have read Save the Cat, let me know if you felt like the structured nature. Yeah, just let me know. All right, I figure we should probably get to writing again. I just cannot believe I've been talking so much already. Okay, let's see. I'm going to share screen, and I'm thinking, since I talked so much, I'm so sorry. We're supposed to be getting words in. I'm thinking maybe let's do like a 17-minute one. We're gonna do a big jump up. How does that work for y'all? We'll do, how do I reset? Nope. Okay. Let's fix it here. 1717. And then I don't have the comments coming in yet to let me know if that's fine or not. Okay. The first one I saw, Samantha says, works for me. So we're doing it. Okay, you guys, time to get some writing in. Start. All right. Time. Let's see how y'all did. I am about to finish my chapter. So excited. Let's see. I don't know. I gotta scroll. I got a whopping 563 words. My goodness. That can't be right. Is that right? How much do I have in this chapter? I have over 1,500 in the chapter. So, okay, maybe that is right. Wow, I was just on a roll after I got over the whole hybrid thing. Let's see. All right, Samantha got 389. Way to go, Samantha. I'm going to scroll back up and see what kind of discussion I might have missed. Okay, Riddle Writes agrees that On Writing by Stephen King is amazing. I listened to it while writing when I'm struggling. I've never actually listened to the audiobook version of that. I think I might attempt that at some point. Vanessa says the German literary scene is very conservative, so that can be fun. Some agents don't accept genre fiction, so it depends on what's best for your novel. That's fascinating. So are you attempting to query on the German literary scene, or are you trying to potentially expand to an agent that, like, I don't know how that works, because I know at some point you can sell your international rights, but I don't know if you need an agent that does that specifically. Because I know in the US at least, you query your agent that would be US based, and then they'll sell to a publisher. And if the publisher is big enough, they'll have like sister publishers, whatever, and then an agent over there in-house almost in a different country will work to get your international rights and whatever sold. So I'm curious how all of that works. Let's see. Thank you, Samantha. I did not realize I was on such a roll. James got 3 pages of outlining done, 1 page of chapter notes, the rest of the scene mapped out, and pieced together as chapter 5 soundtrack. Oh my gosh. So I have several questions. First off, you have soundtracks based on each chapter? That is fascinating. Also, holy crap, James, you got so much done. Vanessa managed to finish her research and got to the end of page 2. Yay, that's exciting. And Riddle Writes wrote 671 words. Oh my gosh, that is incredible. 671, dang. All right, Becca got 2 or 3. Way to go, Becca. The Yummy Factory asks if I will be participating in NaNoWriMo this year. Of course I will be. I wish I could go back and check. I remember participating in NaNoWriMo. It was 8th grade for me. I would have to do the math on when that was. This is how you know that you've gotten older, is when you're like, when was 8th grade? I don't know. But 8th grade was the first time I did NaNoWriMo, and I've done it every year since. I have not won every year, but I have done it every year. And I just love NaNoWriMo. That's just how it is. So of course I will be participating. I'm very excited. I plan to do daily vlogs. And again, 3rd year in a row. At some point, this is just going to be a tradition for me. I don't know how many years in a row you need for something to be a tradition, but we're getting there. I also am debating doing a Vlogmas. I don't know that I think I'm going to try and get some, much like NaNoWriMo, I'll try and get some extra videos in, like, planned ahead of time, but I do think that that would be really fun, especially because I think Vlogmas might allow me to do some videos that aren't quite writing or reading centric. Like, I could do a little bit of other stuff. So I'm going to have fun playing around with that and brainstorming. So yes, my brain is already on NaNoWriMo and everything surrounding that. Let's see. Becca, daily vlogs, yes! And I'm excited because I'm pretty sure Becca's going to do daily vlogs too. I'm just so excited to see how many people we have doing daily vlogs this year, because it's just, there's something already about other people trying to shoot for the same goal that you are, but it's also something to see people doing daily vlogs and getting to follow them attempting to do the same goal you are that just feels so nice. I love it. Um, James says, I have soundtracks based on each individual section of the story, breaking it down into parts, chapters, and scenes of the story. Overall, when I get done outlining, I'll have a whole playlist when I'm done. That's actually really cool. So you kind of make the playlist as you go. So rather than, that's really cool. That's interesting. Sorry, I'm over here like you're blowing my mind. So I just am curious that by the time, do you have a break between when you've outlined and then when you're going to start drafting each time? Are you then like, when you listen to that playlist over, or are you just like, I'm sure it would instantly get you into the right mood and mindset? That's very cool. That's a really interesting way to do it. And I know how much you love music, so I just think that's so cool to like just marry those two so perfectly. Vanessa says, I write in German. Okay. Apparently there are agents that do both domestic and international rights, but I don't know much about that yet. Okay. Yes, that makes sense. Oh man, yeah. I feel like that's one of those things I need to research more too. How do international rights work? Period. James says, thank you. It didn't feel like 17 minutes to me. Same. I was so in the zone that like you get sucked in so fully that you could have told me it was 5 minutes or you could have told me it was 30 and I would not have been able to tell. Like I was just like, this is where I'm at. But I love that. That is where, if I could get to that every writing sprint or every writing session, that would be amazing. It's kind of like seeking this sort of writer's high where I'm like, I'm searching for this feeling each time. Yay, we're all excited about daily vlogs. Yay. Okay. The Yummy Factory asks if I'll work on a new project for NaNoWriMo. It's not a new project. It's a project I checked. I actually got 40,000 words in, which I did not realize. I thought it was like 20,000. And this is like the worst kept secret at this point. I just haven't officially announced it on my channel, but I'm going to be working on Project Death. So I'm very excited to revisit that project and just get the first draft done during NaNoWriMo. So I'm pumped. Samantha says, I can't wait for NaNoWriMo. Glad you'll be participating. This is my 4th year in a row, but last year was my first time winning. Oh, yay, that's so exciting. I can't wait to hear how it goes for you. Like if the experience of winning feels like now you know you can win every year, or if there's something like, obviously life gets in the way too sometimes, but like sometimes I feel like it is an achievement you've unlocked once you do something the first time. So I can't wait to hear how your experience goes. Yay, okay, people are excited for Vlogmas too. James says, I'm so down for Preptober this year, my first one ever. Yes, James. I feel like you and your freaking soundtracks, you're gonna love Preptober. I can't wait. I feel like I'm actually diving deeply into Preptober this time, partially because I've already in some ways done the zero draft for Project Death, but I have a lot of stuff to rework. So it's almost like I'm doing my outlining phase here rather than at the next stage. I don't know. It's a little bit different, but I'm really excited. We're going to see. Maybe I'll have like a very solid draft after the end of NaNoWriMo this year if I do my prepping right. So I'm really excited. Everything I'm excited for. This is going to be Riddle Wright's first year participating in NaNoWriMo. Yay! Oh my gosh. This is, again, I can't wait to hear how it goes for you too. It's just, I really do. I love NaNoWriMo so much. So I'm hoping you're going to love it just as much as I do. I think you will. It's so much fun. There's never a time that I'm in connection with so many other writers. And there's just something incredible about that. So, oh my gosh, November cannot get here soon enough. But also it needs to like not get here yet because 1, Halloween, but 2, I have not prepped enough. So like I have conflicting emotions. Jane says the playlist is going to get me into the groove. I love me some music. And I plan on drafting, ooh, it jumped. I plan on drafting a week or 2 after I get done outlining. All right, okay, so that makes sense. So you're gonna have like a little bit of a space and then, man, that's so interesting to me. I love hearing about people who do stuff so differently than I do. I just think that's so cool. I see Yummy Factory asks, do you know Write or Die? It's a program that forces you to write by starting to delete your words if you stop writing. I tried that once upon a time in college. I hate it. It's not. I think it's probably really good for people that would think over stuff so much. I actually, because I write so fast, that when I stop, it's because I need a full amount of time to think about something, not because I've like stopped working really. It's like I just need all of this time to think. So I just don't delete my words. I don't know. I don't like it as much, but I think it is really clever. I think whoever invented it was so cool. I think that's very fun. I know I have a friend who used to use it. Have y'all heard of Written Kitten? So you can set your goal count, and then it'll flash a new picture of a kitten for you. So it's like, every 150 words, you can get another picture of a kitten on your screen. And I think that's clever too. I think all of that kind of stuff is so fun. Riddle writes, I anticipate some crying and a lot of excitement. You're not wrong. Yeah, that a day 10 and 20 for me. I'm just like, what have I done to myself? But other than that, it's mostly excitement. Everyone's agreeing. Yes, and lots of coffee, of course. All right, let's see. I think it's time for another writing sprint. So we've done 17 minutes, 8 minutes. I'm so sorry. I have talked so much this time. I don't know what's happening. Maybe I'm still slightly delirious from waking up and not sleeping as much. So if I do 7, I want to try and make sure we get at least like 45 minutes of sprints in. Usually I try and get an hour worth of sprints, but I don't know that it's going to happen this time. So we did 7 minutes. We did 8 minutes and 7 to 25. Okay. No, we might get an hour. How about 23 minutes? Does that feel like too much, or should we do, if we did another 17 and another 8, we could get 50 minutes over the whole thing. What are y'all feeling? Do you feel up to a 23-minute sprint, or is that just like too much for you? Usually that's too much for me. So, okay, the first answers, Becca and James are saying, heck yes. So we're going to do it. We're doing 23 minutes. It's happening. We can't turn back now. Let's reset this. And we're actually going to do 23:32. And before I can get anyone to tell me otherwise, we're starting. So, okay. Oh, well, theoretically, this would have happened, but because I didn't share my screen properly. We've already started writing. I'm so sorry. Okay. I think I'm gonna need to find a different website where that one isn't as like abrasive. But I got up part of the way through and got myself my everything bagel with cream cheese. Let me see. I actually finished the chapter. I finished now. So my stuff's done. I just have to wait on my co-writer for the next bit. And I think again, that was my best one yet. I got 714 words. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now I just got to figure out what I want to do for we'll do one final sprint before we're done. Let me add up how much time we've done sprint wise. So we did 23 minutes and then 17 minutes and then 8 minutes. Okay, so we'll need to do a 12-minute sprint and then we'll have successfully gotten an hour's worth of writing in this 2-hour time period. I feel like that'll be good. Let's see how everyone else did. James got 3 pages of outline. Way to go, James. Samantha, 707, but I took a break to make some tea. Yeah, that's the thing about those 23-minute ones or anything over 20 minutes is that I have to have a break of some sort in between there. So like this time I just needed food, but like inevitably I have to get up and do something for some reason. Vanessa, 4 pages edited. Thank you, James. I do feel like I crushed that one. On the inside, I was like, ooh, I did good. And also I feel like I like where my chapter went. So I'm just like, yes, solid writing. Riddle writes, 8:12 had to stop and get more coffee. That's what we all had to take a break. I'm debating the merits of, I finished my cappuccino. Maybe I get another one. Maybe I wait till later. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. James, about to write a scene with a straight couple. This is something I never do. I love that though. That's so interesting. So what made you decide to just throw in the straight couple this time? And is this, oh, I'm so curious. I'm trying to figure out, are there other couples in this story? Or is it like the straight couple's the focus this time? Because I feel like I have both my 24-hour romance and then my college romance series have like straight couples, LGBT couples. Like it's just kind of I'm putting it all in there. And so, but I have the focus because there's like one main couple each time that it switches up each book kind of thing. Riddle writes, I say get another one. We can never have too many cappuccinos. So true. So true. You know what I've been doing actually is I'll have my cappuccino in the morning and then I'll make it till like 2-ish. And either if I don't work out, I make myself a matcha latte instead. So I use my cappuccino machine twice. I just don't always have the cappuccino. And then I haven't done drip coffee in a while. I've been not as on board the drip coffee train. I guess when you could have a cappuccino or a matcha latte, why would you do drip coffee? But I used to still be super into it. Let's see. 8:42. Okay, we can fit a little bit more talking in, but we're going to do that 12-minute one soon. And let's see if I missed any conversation on the front end. Yeah, Samantha saying we're just having great conversation. That's why it's just all the talking. Let's see. All right, I feel like we are caught up. Let's see, James says the straight couple is the one canon from the books. Okay, I got you. So I incorporate them in order to set up the gay couple. I like to follow a quote from one of my camp cabin members. Straight couples and my fan fiction? Never let this happen again, sisters. That is amazing. Oh my God. How did you find your camp cabin members? I'm always so curious how people, because I feel like the past couple of years I've just been reaching out to people to get like a semi-author tube one, but I always think it's so cool. Did you have like a fan fiction specific camp cabin, or were there people that you knew before? But that quote is amazing. In fact, would you consider including Duke as a character in one of your books? I would totally consider having like a nod to Duke in one of my books. I don't know if I'd make him a full character. Maybe I will in the future, though, having said that. But I think it would be so fun. My sister-in-law actually wants to like maybe speaking of co-writing wants to maybe co-write a like children's novel because she also does a lot of illustrations and stuff, or like I shouldn't say novel, a children's book. And I think it would be so cool because they have cats and then we have Duke, if they were like some of the characters in it. I think that would be so fun. So I'm going to talk to her about that pretty soon and see if we want to do it. I think I have an idea for what I think the story should be. So I'll be the one who's we'll work on the story together. I'll do the actual writing of it and she'll do the illustrations. But I think that would be so fun. So I'm excited. So in that case, then yes, I guess we might be including Duke as a character. Riddle Wright says, I got a new espresso. If I could talk, I would read the comment. I got a new espresso machine like a month ago and haven't had drip coffee since. I'm excited to try with the new toy. For real though, it's just so much fun. Like, the espresso machine is amazing. It's everything you could ever want. And it is. I'm still convinced at some point I'm going to figure out the secrets behind latte art. It's almost like it doesn't matter how many YouTube tutorials I watch. I can never quite get it. So I've gotten closer each time where I feel like I'm getting the milk the right consistency I need in order to make it, but the actual like hand movement, and I've never had the best, like, I'm pretty decent at sports actually, but outside of that realm, my hand-eye coordination isn't very good. Like, my writing's atrocious. I can't draw like any kind of like, I don't know. It's just not good. So I wonder if it's like not meant to be, but I'm gonna keep trying. Okay, so James met through the camp cabin site. We all communicated with Discord during camp, though. That is interesting. Our camp cabin attempted to talk through Discord this time. Some of us did. Some of them did really well with it. I hardly ever use Discord, though I can see it being something I get more into in the future, just because everyone else seems to be doing it. And sometimes I'm a follower, so I'll get there eventually. Vanessa says, Samantha, thank you for admiring how adorable Duke is. I know y'all can't see him. That's him right there. Vanessa, yes, I think Duke should totally be a chill and lazy sidekick. Right, he would be so cute. Besides just him, though, I do think that'll be fun. But I feel like in my books, I do include a lot of nods to like vague things that either my friends or my family would be like, haha, would know. I think that's a lot of fun because if you do it the right way, it shouldn't bring anyone who's unfamiliar with it out of the story. But like, for example, all of the contemporaries I write, whether it's with co-writers or just by myself, I want to include some sort of reference to like a specific thing, and they're all going to have it in there so that theoretically the worlds are connected, you know? I just think that's fun. It's not that they're actually connected, but like they're kind of. If you've read the other books, you'll be like, hey! And I always just think that's so cool. So for the people that know me, they might hear me like use a certain character name, and maybe I'll just start putting Duke the dog in all of these books. Let's see. Thank you, Riddle Wrights. That last one almost did look like a heart. Almost. James never had an espresso machine. This is the first time in my life I've ever had an espresso machine. You know, I conned my parents into buying one because I convinced them to get into cappuccinos. They were not before. They were all drip coffee. And so since I moved back, I'm like, cappuccinos are the best. And so now they were like, they're also addicted. My parents are actually gone. Since my dad's retired, they're gone all the time. But my mom texted me and is like, I miss my cappuccino machine. And I thought it was so funny. Let's see. Yeah, Riddle Wright says my parents bought it. I just took it to my house. I love that though. That's so funny. Half of my house at this point came from my parents' house. As the oldest child, when I lived on my own in Dallas, it was like half of my parents' old place. It was like all of their furniture. I got the first hand-me-downs were mine. Before I then bought, like, actually the giant couch we have in this house is like my couch that I bought. And Then my brother's got the couch the next time before he and his wife have now bought something new. So then I think Robert already had furniture, but it's still in storage. We're just slowly moving everything down the line. James says, I just live at Starbucks at this point. Coffee shop writing is one of my favorites. I think it is just the best. And I'm on a star streak, so I'm going to get Starbucks today too. So I feel you, James. Okay, it's 1:48. I messed up. We're supposed to sprint for 12 minutes. It's happening. Let's do this. Oh my gosh, my bad. We're going to reset this. We're going to do 12:21. And I will make sure that I am sharing my screen this time. From tab, timer, share. Alrighty, hopefully you guys can see that. Let me double check, and you can. All right, start. We're writing. Oh, I did not figure out what project I was going to work on. Oh no, but we're writing. right. Well, how did y'all do on the final sprint? That does take us to a full hour of writing. I got nothing done writing-wise in that sprint. After having finished my chapter, I was like, you know what, I'm good. I don't know that I can get into something else in 12 minutes, but I did play around with my YouTube schedule and looked at my upcoming projects, video and writing-wise. So it felt productive in some ways, just no actual words were written. Let's see. Oh, Riddle writes, where do you live? I used to live at Starbucks until I found a coffee shop that has butterbeer lattes. That sounds incredible. I wonder what they use to make butterbeer lattes and how can I replicate that at home? I would love, I'm gonna have to look up recipes now. So that's decided, good. Let's see. Samantha got 389, way to go. Riddle writes, got 0, kept erasing what I wrote. I know that struggle. James got 2 pages outlined. Vanessa got 1.5 pages or so. Yummy factory erasing is the best. I always have the problem, maybe because I tend to write so quickly when I'm actually in the zone, that it never bothers me to erase words when I know that I'm like completely in the wrong spot. You know, sometimes I'm like, this is not it, this is not it, this is not it. During NaNoWriMo, I tend to keep those words just to count them toward the goal. But usually I'm just like, nah, 200 words, they can go away if it wasn't working, you know? And then I'll try again, and sometimes it doesn't work, and it's fine. That's what James says there are recipes online for. I'm gonna pull it up right next to romantic suspense, which I can Google more. So butterbeer lattes. I've made butterbeer, like my version of butterbeer at home. I haven't made any butterbeer lattes though, so I'm excited for this. And then, yay, Becca almost finished the chapter. That is so exciting, Becca. I'm so pumped. And Romer writes, I try not to erase and just keep writing and go back later, but oh boy, that scene was not working for me. Yes, I feel you. That's usually when I erase too, because there's plenty of times a la my 0 draft thing where it turns out the scene actually is wrong or something, but usually I just let it be or I move on. I do a lot of brackets or like the little squiggles where I'm like, from here on out, let's assume this kind of thing. So I don't erase everything else before then, but when the scene's not working and I feel it deep within me that it's not working, I gotta get that out of there. But all right, oh my gosh, you guys, we did it. 2 hours of chatting and writing, 1 hour of full writing. I am going to post over on the Patreon. I have an idea for something. I don't know if it's going to work out, but I'm going to let y'all help me decide on something first. It'll be a poll that'll be up for like a couple days. And then, yeah, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm with Samantha. Good job, everyone. I feel like we freaking crushed it. As tired as I was to start this, I felt very productive over the entire course of it, the last sprint notwithstanding. So again, thank you guys so much for joining me. I had so much fun, and hopefully I will see y'all all soon with another video. Okay, bye!